Bitter criticism, the last. Maybe this is the last. I'm not sure if this will be Cgtn time. The Cgtn branch. Cgtn branch of the file. Cgtn. Who knows? I'm not sure about. Maybe I guess I still have news from Russia Today. I guess, yeah. So, and it's not so hot, but anyway, I'm wearing this thermal suit anyway. Dimitri Tenin is being great. No, I'm still in Russia today. I will have to do more 3 episodes. June 5th, 2024, Home World News, Dimitri Trenin. Europe will eventually have to choose between the US and BRICS. The days when an external power dominated Eurasia are coming to an end. Countries in the far west of the continent will soon need to wake up. This is written by Dimitri Trenin. Look. With you guys, Dimitri Trenin, and he is a research professor at the Higher School of Economics and a lead research fellow at the Institute of World Economy and International Relations. He is also a member of the Russian International Affairs Council, RIAC. I guess I read this. We have a photograph, a file photo. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, French President Emmanuel Macron. Where's Italy? No, just joking. Just 2 decades ago, for the first time, the great continent of Eurasia was dominated by one power, which, as it happened, wasn't even Eurasian itself. Indeed, in the continent's West, NATO, led by the US, was going through a big bang expansion, admitting 7 new members between the Baltic, the Black Sea, and the Adriatic. US-inspired and supported color revolutions, first in Georgia and then in Ukraine, were pointing to the next candidates to join the alliance. In the south of Eurasia, the United States, having invaded Iraq, was ruling the region supreme from Baghdad. Having routed the Afghan Taliban, US forces were also entrenched in Kabul, supported as they were by military bases in the neighboring Central Asian nations, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. Of Eurasia's own premier powers, China was happily integrating into the global economy, where the Washington Consensus was still law. India was shedding the last vestiges of Fabian socialism and ready to embrace globalization, which logically prioritized relations with America and Russia, recovering from the economic, social, and technological collapse that resulted from the downfall of the Soviet Union. Was still hoping to build strategic partnership with the US and NATO. American power was at its peak. Washington literally had the world in its hands. Alas, the US, the only power in world history to achieve the position of a global hegemon while unchallenged by any other major player, has miserably misused its mightily strong hand and its vaunted soft power, rather than setting out to organize a genuine multipolar system based on mutual recognition of each nation's core interest with itself, at least initially, as a primus inter pares, which will be Franklin Roosevelt method. It proceeds it proceeded to enhance its exclusive and comprehensive dominance. Washington was pushing Russia even harder with each step in NATO's creeping enlargement to the east. It wreaked arms control with Moscow and the nuclear deal with Tehran. And it continued to constantly provoke China over Taiwan, while launching a trade and technology war against Beijing to hamstring its prime economic competitor. In the meantime, Russia, India, and China, their three leading non-Western countries in Eurasia, as well as many of the continent's other important independent players, continue to rise economically as well as consolidate their cooperation. In purchasing power terms, they currently represent respectively the fourth, third, and the top largest economies in the world. For about a decade, China has been also promoting its massive Belt and Road Initiative. India began exploring and then expanding its world role, and Russia, with 4 other former Soviet republics, built an Eurasian Economic Union. What's that? 4 other Soviet republics. I'm not sure about this. Moscow. What? This is not an Eurasian Economic Union. Look, Moscow, Beijing, and Delhi, along with Brasilia, became the founding members of BRICS. And someone is left. Moscow, Beijing, Delhi, and Johannesburg. This year at the BRICS summit in Russia's Kazan, the group will for the first time include the leaders of Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Yeah, I guess I heard that the weak countries in BRICS is South Africa. Anyway, another major Eurasian institution is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, which began at a forum for China, Russia, and the Central Asian states, but now it includes also India, Pakistan, and Iran, with Belarus to the aim to be admitted soon. A number of other Eurasian countries, from Turkey to Thailand and from the Maldives to Mongolia, have voiced their intention to join either BRICS or SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Yeah, Shanghai Cooperation Organization is more Asiatic, you know. To counter that trend among the members of what we increasingly call the world majority, Washington has raised the profile of NATO in the Indo-Pacific, strengthened its Cold War era bilateral and trilateral alliances in the Western Pacific, and founded a new one, AUKUS, in the South Pacific. The Americans are also seeking to cultivate India as a pivotal great power within the Quad group. All these multiple arrangements are completely dominated by the US and are aimed at containing and deterring Washington's designated primary adversaries: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, with one overriding goal of defending America's hegemonic position. In contrast to that, neither BRICS nor the SCO is dominated by a single power or a tandem triumvirate of nations. But China is the most important. Bitter criticism. China is dominating BRICS and SCO. What about that? I'm sorry. Hey, give me a scholarship, Xi Jinping. Of course you have one. You have a scholarship for me. Anyway, I want to study what? I don't know what I want to study in China. Chinese cinema. What about that? I want to study cinema in China. I guess it's not so great, you know. Chinese cinema is not so great as French cinema. Anyway, BRICS' recent expansion also suggests that it does not aspire to become a version of the West G7 as an elitist steering group or directoire for the non-Western world. The SCO includes no less than 4 nuclear powers, each of which pursues a clearly independent foreign policy, inspired by a distinct mode of strategic thinking and serving a set of well-defined national interests. Indeed, the BRICS SCO diplomatic culture features sovereign equality, dialogue, respect for national interests, and civilizational values and consensus. Neither BRICS nor the SCO is overtly anti-American or anti-Western. Their main focus is internal rather than external, and they have their work cut out of them, and they have their work cut out of them. Of course, Russia, China, India, Iran, and others insist on doing business without outside interference, not to speak of foreign diktat. They don't want to dominate Eurasia. They live there. It is their home, unlike the ever restless, indispensable nations thousands of miles away. In Ukraine, the main issue for Russia has been national security, not some resurrection of an empire. Yeah, well, this article is fabulous, you know. Come on. This article has been absolutely great. In Taiwan, Beijing has advocated national reunification on a version of the Hong Kong model. Again, a far cry from an imperial design. Yet Americans have a good reason for fear Russia prevailing in Ukraine. This will deal a heavy blow to their leadership position inside the Western Bloc, as well as to their residual hegemonic role elsewhere in the world. Washington will not take this lightly and can be relied upon to do everything in its power to prevent it. Apart from the 16,000 sanctions imposed so far on Russia and the hundreds of billions of dollars spent on the war in Ukraine, the US and its friends will try to drive wedges among BRICS SCO nations and undermine the domestic position of leaders not to their liking, something they are experienced in a well-equipped for, which is imperialism, you know. The US is imperialistic and doesn't want to stop being, because it's been a great deal. It's been a great business, imperialism for the US. That's it. You know, I guess you noticed this car here. It was Milu because we were fighting. But now we are in peace. We were playing, actually. We were playing, you know. Playing. And Milu was crazy because of Tommy. And I started fighting too. Provoking Milu. Anyway. One obvious issue the US will exploit in the Sino-Indian relations, which could give them a chance to turn Delhi against Beijing and to weaken Indo-Russian relations. So far, they haven't succeeded. Much as India's need for investment and advanced technology to fully develop their nation's vast potential, they see their country as a great power, not an instrument in someone's schemes. With Indian self-image and self-esteem rising fast, it is hard to imagine that Delhi will do Washington's bidding. The countries of Eurasia have little to fear from Russia achieving its goals in Ukraine. The emerging mutual security space within the SCO will make the continent, minus Western Europe for the time being, far more stable, whether in terms of strategic stability in major power relations, regional security systems like the one proposed by Russia in the Gulf, or the risks of terrorism, New financial arrangements within the BRICS group will make dollar-free transactions among the members safer. New Eurasia-wide logistics can provide for better connectivity within the world's largest and most diverse continent. Eventually, the countries of Western Europe or far Western Eurasia, if you like, will have to make a choice between staying in the US orbit as America's power continues to shrink, or reaching out east to a vast and vibrant new world next door. I guess it's obvious. Well, I love this article from Dimitri Trenin. You are my sixth columnist. What about that? Dimitri Trenin, such a great writer. A lot of people could wrote this, but Dimitri Trenin did it. So Dimitri Trenin, you are my sixth. I will find you on Russia Today every day. And finally, Cgtn, China, South China Sea arbitration misinterprets, distorts UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Law of the Sea. So we still have problems in China. Hello, Xi Jinping. Yeah, we have a problem in South China Sea. What about that? This was from Politics. I will read it again. Taiwan's pro-reunification parties slam US arms deals with Lai Ching-te. Politics, June 6. Cgtn. We have a photograph from night view of Taipei, Southeast China's Taiwan region. Look, night view of Taipei, Southeast China's Taiwan region. So, what a huge provocation against the NPP. Pro-reunification parties in China's Taiwan region on Wednesday issued a joint statement slamming recent US arms sales to the island and Lai Ching-te for colluding with external forces to seek independence. The criticism came after 27 arms dealers in the United States, in the name of participating in the US-Taiwan Defense Industry Conference, recently sold arms to Lai. Quote, the pursuit of such acts is to fuel the conflict across the Taiwan Straits and involve the people of Taiwan in the anti-China war set by the US, said the statement. The US cannot promise Taiwan's security and will only bring isolation and danger to the people, the statement said, adding that purchasing US arms will only lead to a more heavy casualties in the region. In a bid to consolidate its hegemony, the US uses Taiwan as a human shield to contain China and undermines regional peace and stability, which will eventually be spurned by the international community and end up hurting its own interests, it said. Noting that the greatest common denominator of the people of Taiwan is peace instead of war, the statement said any politician who plunged Taiwan into the crisis of a war is on the opposite side of the people of Taiwan. Quote, the people of Taiwan are part of the Chinese nation, it said, condemning the Democratic Progressive Party authorities for colluding with external forces and splitting China's territory. You know, here in Chile we have a DPP, which is, it's PPD. Anyway, there's a lot of parties. I like parties, political parties. We have the PPD. It's not, no, it's the same, I guess. DPP, we have the PPD. PPD, not DPP. You know, it's very similar. Right here in Chile is Party for Democracy, Partido por la Democracia. I like this. It's like social democracy, you know, but I guess Taiwan Democratic Progressive Party, it has nothing to do with progressism, you know. Nothing to do with democracy. Maybe democracy, if you, well, they are criticizing China. Bitter criticism against China. The Taiwan independence forces are leading Taiwan into danger, the statement said. No, I'm gonna read early from above. The people of Taiwan are part of the Chinese nation, it said, condemning the Democratic Progressive Party authorities for colluding with external forces and splitting China's territory. The Taiwan independence forces are leading Taiwan into danger, the statement said, calling for resolutely opposing selling out Taiwan's security and interests, urging all walks of life in Taiwan to boycott U.S. arms dealers. It called for peace, economic development, and reunification instead of weapons, wars, and independence. More from Cgtn. His remarks on CASCF to promote brighter China-Arab shared future. But you know, from the last article, from the last news, I strongly support China, you know. Definitely, I know, everybody knows that Chinese people, they support Chinese government because they are delivering, you know. They are growing the economy, they are giving Chinese people great lives, you know. That's it. I want to live in China too, you know. And I will tell you more. I am just like Mao Zedong. Yeah, I'm Maoist, you know. I like China and stuff, but my favorite Chinese is Mao Zedong. What about that? I'm Maoist. I am Maoist. I guess Mao Zedong. You know, this is just a request, an advice. You should, in Cgtn, you should make an article comparing Mao Zedong to Max Weber. Not to make friends with Germans, but because Max Weber, he was a great philosopher. He used to talk about culture, just like culture revolution, you know. The big problem of societies, the big problem of human beings is a poor culture. This destructive, self-destructive culture. So there's nothing better than to have a good culture, you know, just like Mao Zedong proposed and achieved, and just like Max Weber advocated. So I guess Max Weber and Mao Zedong have lots in common, I guess, in my opinion, in my modest opinion. Well, more one news. His remarks, and well, I cannot say enough that Chilean people, they are under drugs just like Chinese with opium. This is a sad truth about Chilean society. They are drug addicts, they are junkies. His remarks on CASCF to promote brighter China-Arab shared future. Opinion, June 6. Botaina Shaban, which is I guess she's Indian. She's a nice Indian woman. Editors note, Decision Makers is a global platform for decision makers to share their insights on events shaping today's world. Botaina Shaban is a special advisor to the Syrian presidency. She's Syrian, I guess. The article reflects the author's opinion and not necessarily the views of Cgtn. You know, his face was like Indian. Yeah, I guess there's a lot in common about Hindu people and Arab people. They are very similar, I guess. In the opening of the 10th Ministerial Conference on the China-Arab States Cooperation Forum, CASCF, Chinese President Xi Jinping delivered a speech worthy of long consideration and dwelling on its direct and indirect remarks and visionary observations, not only for the Arabs and Chinese people who are directly involved, but for the world at large, especially for those who are struggling to explain what is happening in Gaza and Ukraine. I guess I'm not gonna read this because I just read too much about this from previous days. I guess China is the role model for the whole world nowadays, and that's it. I trust China. I trust China will only China. I guess only China can. Not even Russia. I guess just China. They can fix the Palestinian problem. Anyway, the global self-significance in an era of geopolitical competition. Well, it's been a great day. You know, there's been great articles. If I don't make it now, I'm not gonna make it because it's been right now it's kind of 26 minutes. I will need another 47 minutes, and I will do it in some square. I don't know where, anywhere, with my mini tripod. My mini Chinese tripod, yeah, made in China. My cell phone's made in China. Go China. Have you saw my dog there catching some stones? You'll see now. Look. Well done, dogs. Anyway, the global self-significance in an era of geopolitical competition. Well done, Mursi. Opinion, June 6, Jian Junbo. We have a photograph here from a view of St. Petersburg, Russia, June 1st. Editor's note, Jian Junbo, a special commentator on current affairs for Cgtn, is an associate professor and deputy director of the Center for China-Europe Relations at Fudan University. He is also Under-Secretary General of the Shanghai Institute for European Studies. The article reflects the author's views and not necessarily of Cgtn. The 27th St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, SPIEF, being held in Russia from June 5 to 8, maybe it's tomorrow, yeah, is expected to help Russia enhance its ties with the markets in the global south economically and provide chances of expanding its foreign relations politically. The forum taking place against the backdrop of profound changes in the international situation suggests that the trend of great power competition is intensifying. In this context, China also needs to strengthen its relations with the global south. SPIEF's great significance to Russia. Since the breakout of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia's economic relations with Europe and the United States deteriorated quickly. For example, in 2021, the EU-Russia trade volume reached 257.5 billion euros, which is $280. The euro is kind of a little expensive, a little more expensive than the dollar. Yet in 2023, it was only around 89 billion euros. Well, this is just like It's like 1/3. It's like less than 1/3. Yeah, it's kind of 1/3. 1/3 less, or I mean, 1/3 from the total. According to a report in Baidu, in this situation, promoting relations with non-Western markets is of great significance for Russia's economic development, and the SPF is an important opportunity for Russia to do so, especially enhancing ties with emerging economies. Diplomatically, due to the sanctions imposed by the US and the EU and the US, Russia's relations with the West, with Western countries, are deadlocked. The SPF, which has invited many leaders from non-Western countries, is significant for Russia to maintain relatively normal foreign relations with the outside world. And we have another photograph, the exhibition of achievements of national economy in Moscow, Russia. We have it was a building, yeah. SPF denotes rising geopolitical competition. In consideration of the competition of the great powers in the world, the SPF can be regarded as a Russian measure to win the support of global South countries and expand its economic and even political influence among those nations. In fact, several powers are vying for the support of the South. The US, the EU, and Japan are reshaping their relations with Africa, the ASEAN, Latin America, and Arab countries, adjusting their policies toward these regions. For example, the EU is stepping up its efforts to promote partnership with Africa and economic partnership agreement negotiations with many emerging economies. The US is also readjusting its African and Asian policies, such as its Indo-Pacific strategy. Some non-Western powers are also vying. I don't know this word, look, vying. I'm gonna print it, but by now I don't know this. I'm gonna print it. In the future, I'm gonna check it out, all of this. They're also vying for better relations with the global South countries. India being a case in point. In 2023, India organized the Voice of Global South Summit in virtual format, which indicates its ambition to compete for international influence and power. Therefore, the SPF has become a platform for communication amid increasingly strong geopolitical competition. Closer ties between China and the rest of the world. This is another subtitle. Closer ties between China and the rest of the world. China will always be a member of the Global South. What? I hope so. China will always be a member of the Global South. That's a strange sentence. Because China could develop and exploit the Global South, you know? Faced with the changing dynamics of international society, China needs to develop closer economic, political, and even military ties with the bloc. First of all, it is important for China's high standards opening up. Recently, due to the de-risk policy of the EU and US toward China, China's ties with them are encountering many challenges and becoming more complicated. The market connection between China and Europe and the United States is declining. Therefore, to ensure the stability of its foreign relations and maintain high-quality opening up, China must strengthen its ties with the vast global South. Moreover, this is an indispensable way for China to promote sustainable economic development by engaging in multi-field and multi-level cooperation with other developing country economies. China can make up for the losses caused by the US and United States protectionist policies. Third, it is necessary for China to ensure a good international environment for itself. China's strengthening of market ties with the Global South on the principle of mutual benefit and win-win cooperation will help sound development of China global South relations, which is crucial to create a friendly and stable external environment for China. To this end, China needs to better promote its relations with the global South by investing in more resources and maintaining deep communication. However, while strengthening its relations with the group, China should not seek to promote rivalry with the West. Strengthening relations with the global South does not mean giving up stable ties with the West. Chinese businesses should try their best to maintain contact with the European and American markets, which will help maximize China's economic interests and eventually prove to be beneficial for the West. I will forget this, but look, if you want to contribute and have specific expertise, please contact us. At Opinions Cgtn. Follow those opinions, formerly Twitter, and discover the latest commentaries in Cgtn opinion sections. Maybe you can publish there, who knows? Yeah, you can publish on Cgtn. This is fly for a yellow guy. I forgot the quoting. So fly for a white guy. Fly for a white guy. But I forgot. Fly for a yellow guy in this case. So fly for a yellow guy. I'm a yellow guy too, I will try to, if I remember, I have to remember this. I will try to remember all these opinions on Cgtn. Definitely, I want to write some from South America, I guess. I'm gonna do that article myself. I'm going to say, I'm gonna put the headline, this very headline here. I'm gonna say Max Weber equals Mao Zedong, I guess. Cultural revolution, cultural permanent revolution, Max Weber and Mao Zedong. What about that? That will be terrific, That will be awesome. Cgtn's, we have more from Cgtn's special report on US campus protests and more, fire and fury. These issues of Palestine, I guess it's not so, it's politics, of course. It's politics. But can be and cannot be, The most important things are, they are not these urban protests. This urban protest doesn't bring any change in the end. I guess not. The most important thing, is vote. What president you will elect. In American case, I guess they will elect Trump. Anyway. What we want is justice, and we want it now. As the armed conflict in Gaza intensifies and the death toll soars, U.S. students have been struggling to make their voices heard. Yet to the student protesters' dismay, their righteous demands have been answered by the collective silence of U.S. authorities and violent police crackdowns. When civil and political rights become empty talk, and police violence rages across the U.S., people around the world are starting to see the true colors of so-called American democracy. It's a short article. Look, according to the report on human rights violations in the United States in 2023. The human rights situation in the United States continued to deteriorate in 2023. A staggering 76% of Americans believe that their nation is going in the wrong direction. And do Americans academics say about the situation where the majority of the basic rights and freedoms of ordinary people are being disregarded? To set the answer, watch Cgtn special report Fire and Fury, only on Cgtn. Yeah, there was a teaser. Another one, next one. Why does the world need China new quality productive forces, from June 3rd? Opinion, he pinned. You know what, I guess you cannot publish an opinion on Cgtn, you know, but I will try. People experience a BYD Tang electric car during a media review on the 100 Brussels Motor Show in Brussels, Belgium. It's a fancy car, it's a beautiful car, look. It's like a fakery from Chevrolet, I'm sorry, but from a Ford, you know. This car looks regular, but it's electric. Editor's note, Xi Jinping is a commentator on international affairs, writing regularly from Xinhua News, Cgtn, Global Times, China Daily, etc. The article reflects the author's view and not necessarily those of Cgtn. And well, what else? Here we are in Chile, the country of copper and lithium, and we don't have, we have zero in electric vehicles. Almost zero. What about that? Well, I'm in the 65 pages of 155, so not even close today. China really helped by reducing the cost of solar energy, said Amin Nasser, Saudi Aramco chief executive at the World Energy Congress, because China has made these green products so affordable. They will help the West achieve its target of cutting carbon emissions to a net zero level by 2050. At the time when the United States is busy hyping up China's so-called overcapacity of green products, Nasser's words reflect the rational and objective view of the international community. That is the development of China's new energy industry and component of China's new quality productive forces should be welcome. New and developed countries strive for their emission goals, and many hope for a global energy transition. New productive forces are supported by new technologies and new ideas, not only with the major emitters benefit from China's development of new quality productive forces, but the rest of the world can achieve a lot as China develops new productive forces, and international technology cooperation can be promoted. In Egypt, the China-aided EgyptSat-2 widely serves Egypt's agriculture, afforestation, environmental disaster monitoring, urban construction, and other related programs. In the United Arab Emirates, under the framework of Belt and Road Initiative, Chinese companies, especially technologically innovative companies in the field of smart cities, clean technology, advanced manufacturing, and so on, have assisted greatly in the local development. In 2023, there was a 30% increase in the exports of the Chinese new trio, namely electric vehicles, lithium-ion batteries, and photovoltaic products, which in the long run will help the rest of the world elevate their productive force to a much higher level. I guess, yeah. So China is playing a capitalist game, you know, and this game is bad for Chile for sure. So call me, Xi Jinping. Call me, give me a scholarship. I will never criticize you again. I was thinking about buying myself a Winnie the Pooh pajama just to playing with you, but I know you cannot take it. I'm sorry, but you know, I don't think Xi Jinping looks like Winnie the Pooh. That's the real thing. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is more beautiful. is more pretty. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but he's a nice guy. I know. I don't know, but you know, I understand Xi Jinping. He cannot take this kind of jokes because he's a military. You know, he's the chief of military. Military people, they are not clowns. You know, you cannot play with them. You know, I'm gonna do this very program, a 1 hour program, just to try to finish something here. Statistics also prove that China's new quality productive forces contribute to world economic growth. Bloomberg recently reported that with the supply of affordable and clean energy Chinese products, the hope of global energy transition is just around the corner. Currently, China produces 50% of the world's wind power equipment and 80% of the world's photovoltaic equipment. From 2012 to 2021, China's green trade increased by 146.3%, injecting a green impetus into global economic growth. From 2011 to 2020, the number of patent applications for environmental technology inventions in China accounted for 60% of the world's total. And China is also one of the most active countries in deployment of environmental technology innovation. It is worth mentioning that in the process of energy transition, technological breakthrough is the key. Many countries have encountered bottlenecks such as immature technologies and integration difficulties in the process of green development. With new quality productive forces, China is able to provide innovative solutions, hence promoting technological progress and industrial upgrading of the whole world. In fact, to develop in a much greener way is a major reason for China to cultivate new quality productive forces which support cost-effective, low-carbon and eco-friendly development, ensure happiness for people, and promote the healthy functioning of society and sustainable future for the whole world. With robust technological innovation and a complete industrial chain system, China's new quality productive forces can make green products more popular and provide affordable solutions for the whole world. It will, at the same time, ease the inflationary pressure caused by the rising cost of traditional energy. Chinese electric cars, 20 to 30% cheaper than those made by European manufacturers, according to McKinsey and Company, are cases in point. China has helped other countries improve their capacities to cope with climate change through technical support, capacity building, and financial assistance. Deep in the desert of Abu Dhabi, the world's largest single solar power station was completed by China in 2023, helping the UAE eliminate 2.4 million tons of carbon emissions per year. So what a chance, isn't it? What a great chance for Chile. And woo, we surpassed 47 minutes. What about that, boys? Do you like, boys, being here? You know, the only thing I'm doing here materially is giving the emergency truck the stones back. You know, I'm just restoring the truck, restoring the emergency truck. But such a nice chance for a country like Chile. Look, have you heard that? Deep in the desert of Abu Dhabi, the world's largest single solar power station was completed by China in 2023, helping the UAE eliminate 1.4 million tons of carbon emissions per year. That's great. In green development, China is an important partner in Africa's energy transformation. It has implemented hundreds of clean energy and green development projects to support African countries in making better use of solar energy, hydropower, wind energy, and geothermal energy, keeping Africa on track to achieve its goal of green, low carbon, and high quality development. This shows that new quality productive forces are sustainability oriented and good for the future of mankind. Just as the invention of the steam engine brought about industrial development and the internet helped connected the world, the new quality productive forces are what the world needs now to achieve a new kind of development featuring better quality, higher efficiency, and more sustainability. A country committed to the improvement of its people's well-being will always welcome the idea of new quality productive forces and never take products which could boost the forces of overcapacity. If you want to contribute and have specific expertise, I'm gonna send this email about Max Weber and Mao Zedong. I would say, well, it will be a provocation. Mao Zedong was a fan of Max Weber. What about that? I guess I'm gonna do that. Mao Zedong was a Max Weber pupil. What about that? Cultural improvement. How Mao Zedong? Yeah. Cultural improvement. How Mao Zedong was. I forgot this word. How Mao Zedong was influenced by Max Weber. Anyway, the future of ECFA rests with the DPP authorities' policies. Opinion, June 3rd, show Wenqing. We have a file photo show a freighter loaded with goods at the port in Kaohsiung, Southeast China's Taiwan. I'm gonna skip this because I'm just in the 69 page of 155. I'm gonna do a 1 hour show now, 1 hour program, 1 hour episode, and I'm not gonna read more about. Well, this is very specific. I hope the best for Taiwan and China. I hope the best for China, one China. Yeah, I support the one China principle. That's it. What will Modi's third term in India bring? By Diego Kagla Bairam. I guess India is just too complex for me. I hope the best for them too. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi flashes the victory sign at the Bharatiya Janata Party headquarters to celebrate the party's win in New Delhi, India. Editor's note, Duidi Kagla Bairam, a special commentator on current affairs for Cgtn, is an Ankara-based India specialist in Turkey. She has a PhD in international relations and is the author of new course in Turbulent Waters, the Indo-Pacific Narrative and India. The article reflects the author's opinion and not necessarily the views of Cgtn. You know, this article is great. I'm gonna try to start it, but it's too huge. No, it's not so huge. I'm gonna do it, I guess. So next time, I just keep one news from Taiwan. That's it. So, as the elections came to an end in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi secured his third term, while the lower than expected voter turnout triggered anxiety with the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, and prompted its candidates to further harden the party's Hindu nationalist rhetoric. The BJP's Hindutva ideology has now resonated across the country, especially in the south, In most states, campaigns were dominated by local political and economic concerns, such as youth unemployment and inflation. So yeah, India has all these problems. Youth unemployment, billions of people, inflation, but the idea of recognizing India as a strong Hindu state is one of the strongest reasons for Modi's popularity among his followers. The term Modi term will continue to pressure the country's secular credentials as the government pursues its Hindu nationalist agenda, eroding the divide between state and religion in an effort to transform India into a Hindu nation. What's next in terms of foreign policy and India's place in the world? However forms the government in India, there is a free degree of policy continuity rather than looking at the policies of the right-wing BJP or left-wing Congress. The key point to consider is the strength of the mandate. In the foreign policy context, all major political parties of India have a consistent commitment to maintaining strategic autonomy, which entails maintaining ties with all major poles of influence in the international system. But campaigning on his role as a defender of the majority of Hindus, his record of elevating India's global standing, and his ability to govern one of the world's fastest growing economies, Modi and the BJP favor an assertive and muscular foreign policy that integrates with the country's civilizational identity. So far, most of this has been naive and rhetorical, like referring to India's Bharat. And we have a photograph from the election day with the beautiful Indian people. Yeah, with nice people. Yeah, a lot of people. People queue to cast their votes at the polling station during the third phase of India's general election in 3 phases. Anyway, India has recently sought to play a constructive role in the international system for naval deployments in the Indian Ocean to protect commercial shipping from attacks to offering Indian-style ways to address global issues during its G20 presidency. But there is a risk that India may seek to some exception from global norms rules due to its self-perceived exceptional status. This will sometimes increase stress in India's interactions with the West. But at the same time, with the frame of global geopolitical developments, India will continue to enjoy international goodwill as the Western world continues to seek both a democratic balance and a commercial alternative to China. India's efforts to maintain partnerships with both the US and Russia without becoming allies, which are strict constants of its foreign policy, will also continue, while the US is India's vital economic partner, provider of critical technologies, and base for an influential and wealthy segment of the Indian diaspora. Russia remains a vital arms provider and important partner in nuclear energy, and an indispensable balance against the US in the context of maintaining the viability of India's strategic autonomy. And there are more 4 paragraphs, but now I'm gonna start to really reading the Indian news because it's a really huge country, and people, I don't remember when, but people used to say that India will be the great power in the future. And I guess India is super important because the United States, I'm not sure if they are trying right now, but they definitely will start trying to fight BRICS, 5 BRICS. Tommy, acá. Tommy. And well, I have a tiger here, so that's why I will start to reading all I can from India. I will stop skipping India. I will I'll stop skipping India. What about that? India is important too. Well, you know, in India, there's the only place in the world where people, where the African lion, they live with the African lion there. I'm not sure how that's going on, but great, India.